The first time I saw him, he was already behind me. I was walking back from the corner store with a bag of eggs and a freezer pizza. It was close to 9. Street was empty. Air felt wet. I heard shoes. Not fast. Just steady. I turned a little, not full, and saw a shape in my side view. Far enough away to be nothing. I crossed to my building. Unlocked the door. Took the stairs. Halfway up, I checked the landing window, and he was in the glass, closer than he should have been. I spun around, and there was no one on the stairs behind me. Fine. Long day. I went inside and put the eggs away. I didn't think about him again until I heard knocking at 2:17 a.m. Not doorbell. Knocking. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 again. I got up and went to the door, looked through the peephole. Empty hall. I stood there a bit with my ear on the wood. Nothing. I checked my phone. 1 new voicemail. I hadn't heard it ring. I pressed play. Silence. A little hiss. Then it ended. I didn't sleep much. Next morning, I saw him again on my walk to the bus. Same distance behind me as the night before. When I sped up, he sped up. When I slowed, he slowed. I stopped at the light, turned to look. A couple cars. Trash can. Nobody right there. But in the glass of the laundromat window, he was closer, like 10 feet, hands down at his sides. No face details. Just a guy's shape. Brown jacket, maybe. I turned around fast. Just cars. I felt stupid, but I took my phone out. I flipped to selfie and held it up high so the back camera showed the sidewalk behind me. I hit record and stood there a good 30 seconds. Then I watched it. It showed empty sidewalk. Just me. A bus going by. No one at that distance. I tried a photo. Same. At work, between deliveries, I FaceTimed Kara. We've been friends since high school. She knows my tells. "Hey," she said. "You okay?" "Look behind me," I said. "Do you see a guy? Like, tall, jacket?" She squinted at the tiny screen. "No, I just see your stupid chin." "I'm not kidding." "Yeah, I know. But there's nobody there." She leaned in and said, "You look tired," which is what she says when I look bad. I almost told her more. I didn't. I said I was fine. When I said that, the back of my neck prickled. I turned my phone like a mirror, and in that sudden reflection off the glass door, he was much nearer, like arm's length. I spun around so hard I banged my hip on the counter. My boss asked if I was okay. I said yeah, I wasn't. On my break, I went into the little bodega on 3rd. The owner, Anil, keeps this old CCTV screen by the cigarettes. I asked him, "Can you roll it back like a minute?" I just walked by. "I want to see something." He shrugged and tapped the remote. We watched my little shape come toward the camera from outside. Then when I reached the door, the screen went into jagged lines in black for a second. It came back as I walked past the counter. Anil tapped it. "Thing is junk," he said. "Does this all the time." He offered me gum like that would fix me. I walked out and he was right there again. Same distance. Always behind. It didn't help to pretend he wasn't. My eyes kept finding shiny things. Windows, cars, and in those he was too close. The real world said he was far. The fake ones said he wasn't. When I got home, my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, was checking her mail. I stood still in the hall and said, "Do you see that guy?" I pointed behind me at empty air like an idiot. She looked at me first, then past me. Her eyes went right through where he would be. "What guy?" she said, smiling. "You kids." She slid another envelope into her purse and went right through the spot. She brushed my shoulder. Nothing touched her from the other side. She kept walking. I waited to feel him colder or something. Nothing. I went downstairs and found a chunk of chalk from an old kid hopscotch mess by the stoop. I walked back to the sidewalk where I felt he had been and made an X. Just kneeled, drew 2 lines. A car drove by. I stood, moved a few steps, twisted, saw him again in the bar window. I guessed the spot. Another X. I made 5 X's that night between my place and the corner. People walked. No one tripped. No one avoided them. The marks stayed. At 2:17 again, the knocks came. 3. Pause. 3. I went to the peephole. Nothing. I waited. The light in the hall flickered once, then twice. My phone buzzed. Voicemail. Silence again. I saved it this time. I scrolled old ones. The log said I had 3 from unknown numbers around that same time a week ago. I didn't remember. They were all just hiss. The next day, I phoned the non-emergency police line. The officer at the desk was patient until I said the part about the man always being behind me. "He doesn't do anything?" the officer asked. "No." "He doesn't talk?" "No." "Any threats? Any weapons?" "No." "Then there's not a crime," she said. She wrote my name and number on a card anyway and slid it back to me so I could look at it. "Keep a log," she said. "If anything changes, call us." She looked over my shoulder and passed it and said, "You got someone with you?" I turned. An empty lobby. A poster about safe neighborhoods. The glass door was dark. My reflection had that shape behind it again. Close. When I faced it, it was just me. I started to write down rules because it made me feel like I had control. Daytime, he stayed maybe 15 feet back. Nighttime, closer. Always behind. If I stood with my back to something solid, like a wall, I still felt like he was behind me at that same distance, which made no sense. Reflections lied and put him nearer. Peepholes and cameras didn't show him at all, or they broke. When I lied, he took one clear step closer. I didn't know that last one at first. I figured it out later. I changed how I lived. I moved my bed so the head was against the door. I slept on the couch. I tried a night at my cousin Nate's. I told Nate part of it, kept the weird part to myself. He rolled his eyes and said, "You're spiraling again." He hid the liquor. That was generous. We stayed up playing cards. At 2:17, there was knocking at his door. 3. Pause. 3. He looked at me like I timed it. "You text somebody?" I went to the peephole. Nobody there. His hallway light flickered. My phone buzzed with another silent voicemail. Nate said, "Man," with that tired voice. I didn't argue. I rode the 24 bus until dawn one night. Sat in the rear, hoodie up. He was there too. Not in the seats. Always where the back of my head pointed. When we passed windows, I saw him clearer because everything was glass. He was closer in the dark panes than in the bus itself. Sometimes he looked like he was almost standing on my heels in the reflection, but when I turned and looked, the seats were empty, just a guy in a beanie asleep across the aisle. I waved my hand behind me. I didn't touch anything. I checked into the motel by the freeway. Room 12. Red carpet, bleach smell. I paid cash. The guy at the desk asked, "You alone?" I said yes. I stood in the parking lot with my bag. Car headlights lit the asphalt, and behind me, out of the direct light, he stood at the same distance as always. I took 2 fast steps forward, then 2 to the side, like testing him. He matched. The space behind me never ran out of him. I set up stupid traps. I bought fishing line and tied it low across my doorway, hung little bells off it like a Christmas thing. I put chalk around my bed in a skinny line. I sprinkled flour by the door, so if something stepped, I'd see. I set my old laptop to stream live to whoever cared. The comments popped up with laughing faces and, "What are we watching?" At 2:17, the image froze and stayed that way until 2:20. 2 minutes is a long time to watch yourself stuck. The chat got angry. When it unfroze, the bells hadn't moved. No footprints in flour. I checked the fishing line. Still taut. After that, I taped the phone to my chest with it on selfie so it would show whatever was behind me. I walked the block. The video was just my dumb chin. My neck. Empty space. My mother called because Kara called her. "What is this?" she asked. "Are you back on it?" "I'm not drinking," I said. The second the lie left my mouth, I felt the air pull, like a step in a dark room, and in the black glass of the TV, he was a slice closer. I closed my eyes. "Okay," I said. I had a beer. He didn't move. "More than one?" my mother said. Mothers always ask that. "More?" I said. He was still. She was quiet a moment. She switched to the subject she wanted. "This reminds me of that nonsense with Mara," she said. "You wouldn't answer. You wouldn't open the door. You let it go bad." "I don't want to talk about Mara," I said. The second I said it, the room changed. He took a clean, obvious half-step nearer. I could feel where he would be if he were visible. It wasn't a guess. It was like a weight behind me. "Then that's what you have to talk about," she said. "You can't leave things like that and expect to sleep." I hung up. I sat on the floor by the door and let my head rest on my knees. I'd tried not to let my brain touch that night for 2 years. It was the edges. The timestamp of the voicemails, the knocking, the night-sick feeling. I had moved apartments after it. Still on the same bus line because I couldn't afford to vanish. Mara and I had been together off and on for 3 years. We were bad at being kind when it mattered. She wanted me sober. I wanted her to stop saying I was like my father. We fought early, often. It ended for real after she went to her sister's and didn't come back for a week. I told her to return the key. She showed up the next night, drunk or maybe broken, at 2:17, knocking that same beat. I remember because I looked at the clock and decided not to get up. She called twice. She left 3 voicemails. I didn't answer. I turned my phone face down and tried to sleep. She slid a note under the door that I didn't open until morning. It just said, "I'm sorry. Please." Which is ridiculous because we were both sorry and we both weren't. In the morning, the note was damp from shoes in the hall. She wasn't there. She took a ride share to her sister's. When I finally went to talk to her, 2 days later, she had already packed. She said, "We're done. I needed you and you shut me out." I laughed because that's what I do when I can't fix something. She cried. We didn't talk after that. A month later, she was riding her bike home from a late shift and got hit by a car. She didn't die. Don't make that face. She broke her collarbone and some teeth and stopped working at the cafe. She moved to her mother's on the south side. I heard this from Kara. I never called. I told myself it wasn't my place. I told myself if I showed up with roses, it would be like I was trying to take credit for her pain. Lies are tidy. Truths are not. That week, with the man, the knocks kept coming. Always at the threshold. Always 3. I stopped looking though the peephole after the 3rd silent voicemail because it made my head feel like there were bees in it. The hallway light would pop, dip, come back. My kitchen light did it once too, when he was closer at night. A long brownout hum, then normal. I slept in my bathroom because it had no window. I made chalk lines on the tile and felt like a child. I tried to keep him away with talking. It sounds dumb, but it made sense in my head. I stood in my kitchen with the lights off and said things that were true. I said, "I am scared." He paused. "I don't know what you want." He paused. I said, "I know what this is about." He didn't move, or if he did, it was small. Then I said, "It wasn't my fault," and he came closer. No sound, just that feeling like a heatless shadow on your back. I tested the rule. I don't think about Mara, closer. I think about her every day, pause. I didn't hear the knocks, closer. I heard the knocks, pause. I wasn't home, closer. I lay there and waited for them to stop, pause. If I lied, he took ground. If I told the ugliest versions, he held still. I hate that he made me tell the truth to my empty kitchen. I called Mara. The number was the same, but she didn't pick up. I didn't leave a message. I was never good at messages when it mattered. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed anyway. Unknown. I answered on the first ring. "Hello?" I said. The line was hiss. Not even breath. I said, "If this is you, I'm sorry." I said, "If this isn't, I'm sorry anyway." The line clicked and ended. When I walked past my chalk X's the next day, they were faded but still there. If I stepped over one and stood, I felt him in that old place behind me, like it was mapped. I added new X's. Every 2 blocks, you could probably track where I had panicked. I stayed out of places with mirrors. Kara met me for coffee in the afternoon. She looked tired like I did. "You look bad," she said. "I know." She said, "Go to a doctor." I went to the police. She laughed. "They can't fix your head." "I don't think it's in my head," I said. As I said it, he shifted closer. That hit me weird. That was honesty to me, but I guess part of me knew it was in my head too. I corrected. "I think it is, and I think it isn't. I don't know." We sat quiet. She rubbed her knuckle with the thumb of her other hand, which she does when she's trying to make the right choice. "Call Mara," she said finally. I did. "Did you leave a message?" "Did you leave a message?" "No." She stared at me. Then she said, "Coward, but not mean." "Again at the door," she said. "You always do this at the door." I put my hands flat on the table and said, "I'm going to go." She nodded and asked if I wanted her to come. I said no. When I lied, "No, I'll be fine," he shifted again, so I corrected. "I don't know if I'll be fine." He stilled. I rode the bus with my finger hovering over her contact. I scrolled my voicemails. The silent ones sat in a row with the same timestamp. Old ones. New ones. 2:17. If you ask me why that time, I don't know. Might just be when my head wakes up to punish me. I got her address from a mutual, a guy named Oscar who didn't want to be in it. "Please don't say I told you," he said. "She's doing okay. Don't mess it up." "I'm not trying to," I said. I felt him check forward a notch. "I might mess it up," I added, to freeze him again. I walked the last block because it was dusk and the bus made me sick. Her street had little houses. 1 story. Low fences. I stood at her gate and put one hand on the latch. My back was to the road. I didn't turn to check, but I knew where he was. If I lied here, if I said to myself that I was just taking a walk and maybe I'd stop by, he would take the rest of the space. I breathed and tried to feel my feet. At 2:09, The porch light across the street flickered. Mine didn't. It held steady in yellow. I opened the gate and walked the little path to her door. I stood with my hand up and didn't knock yet. I could hear a TV from inside a neighbor's, some game show. The air was hot and smelled like laundry and cut grass. Normal stuff. I knocked. Slow, not the same rhythm. I wasn't going to do the thing that made me jump at my own door. I heard footsteps and a pause. The door didn't open. A voice said, "Who is it?" "It's me," I said. "Evan." Nothing for a few seconds. I heard her exhale. The lock chain slid. The door opened to the chain and stopped. We both stared. It's strange to see someone you held so many times look at you like you're a stranger on their porch. She had new scars along her collarbone peak of her shirt. Little white lines. I hadn't wanted to see them. They were real anyway. "What do you want?" she asked. She wasn't angry. Or she was, and tired. She held onto the edge of the door like it helped. I swallowed. "I need to say sorry," I said. "For that night. For the other nights too. But that one. I heard you. I was there. I lay there and looked at the clock and waited for you to leave. I don't know why I did that. I could say I was drunk. I could say I thought it would make a point. I thought I had to make you stop leaning on me. None of that is good enough." She blinked. Her eyes were wet already, and I hadn't even gotten to the rest. I kept my eyes on her because if I looked down or back, I would run, and he would come in with me. "I told people I didn't hear it," I said. "That's a lie." I told myself that the next day. I kept telling it until it was true to me. It wasn't true. You left voicemails. I didn't listen to them until this week because they were just silence, and I didn't want to know what kind of silence. I'm sorry I did that to you. I'm sorry you were out there. I'm sorry I wasn't. Her hand at the door squeezed like she was holding a pain in one place so it didn't spread. She took the chain off. She opened the door partway. She looked at my face the way people look at pictures to see if something's changed. "You left me in a hallway," she said. It messed me up. "I know." "No, you don't," she said. "That moment, that stupid threshold. You know." She gestured at the thin line of door and home. "It does something to you. I heard you moving in there. I heard you breathe." I knocked until my hand hurt because I thought the rule would bend this one time it mattered. I went downstairs and just sat. I dialed and deleted the words so many times there were no words left. I hate that memory. I hate you in it. I hate me in it. And I hate that I still wonder if I should have brought the key back earlier. "It wasn't your fault," I said. My fingers were shaking. "It was mine. All of it." I paused and checked myself. The part one did is mine. That felt more honest. Behind me, the pressure didn't change. She looked past my shoulder. She didn't look like she saw him. Her eyes slid to that space and didn't snag. "Why now?" she asked. "I thought if I told the truth to the air, it would leave me alone," I said. It didn't. "You'll do this once and think it's done," she said, and her voice got that old edge that hurt because I knew it. "You'll feel better and go back to your mess. I'm not going to open my life for it again." "I don't want your life," I said. "I want to stop feeling like the door is always closed. I know that sounds like I'm trying to make you take care of me again. I'm not. My head won't let me past this without telling you. If you don't forgive me, that's fine. It's what I deserve." Her laugh was short. "Deserve. You love that word." She wiped at her face and missed a tear and let it fall. "There's nothing that makes up for that night. There's no words." "I know," I said, and meant it. Saying I knew doesn't fix anything, but it keeps you from making new wrongs by pretending. We stood with that. It was quiet except for the TV 2 houses down, buzzing. The porch light hummed. It dimmed once and came back, like the bulb had a tremor. "I was drunk too," she said after a while. "I did things. I broke your stupid lamp." I screamed. I'm not a hero in this either. But yes, that night, I needed you to open the door. You didn't. It made me small for months. She sniffed and wiped her nose on the back of her hand. I don't forgive you all the way. I don't even know what that means. But I'm not going to hold it in front of me like a shield anymore. I can't. It's heavy. I'll put it down on the porch and leave it here. Okay, I said. My legs were numb. And don't call me for a while, she said. Not cruel, just a rule. Clear. If you want to send one message in a month that says you're going to meetings or whatever, fine. But don't make me your priest. I won't, I said. I checked myself and added, I'll try not to. If I mess up, I'll own it. We both breathed. She looked tired. I was. I felt the cold spot at my back, like you feel the absence when a refrigerator stops humming. It took me a second to realize it had changed. It wasn't a step. It was a stop. The pressure didn't tilt closer, but it didn't lean back either. It stood and then it was gone, like a sound cut off mid-note. No footsteps. No flourish. Just absence. The porch light did a small flick, like a blink. She looked at my face, at whatever I showed when that happened. Is it done? She asked. I don't know, I said. Something shifted. It sounded fake when I said it, like I was making a movie line. I didn't have smarter words. Thank you, I said, for opening the chain. I had to, she said. I don't want to be those people anymore. She reached for the door. Go home. Sleep somewhere that isn't the floor. I nodded and stepped back off her little rug. I didn't turn my back fast. I took the steps like I was 90. I went down her path. At the gate, I put my hand on the latch and stopped. I looked back. She stood half in, half out. A threshold. She gave a small wave. I waved back and let the gate click. The walk home was nothing. Just night and a dog that barked at nobody. I checked windows when I passed them. There was no shape in them. My reflection was just my dumb chin and my hoodie. I kept expecting a knock that wasn't there. At 2:17, my phone didn't buzz. I lay awake anyway and stared at the door. No knocks. The fridge hummed and stayed that way. The hall light stayed on. I went and opened my door and stood there for a second, like an idiot in my socks. The hall was empty and quiet. I closed it again because my downstairs neighbor would yell if I left it open. I sat with my back against it and let my head tip to the side. I thought about chalk X's and if rain would take them. I thought about the bell on the fishing line. I took it down in the morning. I walked to the corner store at noon and bought eggs. The chalk on the sidewalk was faint. Some still there. People stepped on it like nothing. I didn't add more. I kept my phone in my pocket. When I passed the laundromat window, I glanced because I couldn't help it. It was just me, and down the street, a guy in a baseball cap with a bag of oranges. I went back home and unlocked my door and walked in without the old pause. I didn't like being the kind of person who shuts people out. I don't know if I'll stop being that. I called Kara and told her I went. She said, good. She asked if I wanted to come over for dinner. I said yes. I meant it. I put my hand on my door just to feel it solid, and then I let it go. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps the channel. And if you're not too scared yet, check out one of the other stories waiting for you. See you in the next one.